to ELBC 99.9 FM and www.elbcradio.com, from FM 105.5, and Play J Online TV in Grand Bassa County, Liberia Public Radio in USA, and KMTV. You can also join the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism regular Facebook page, lives, and other various community radio stations. So if you are just joining, I would like to say welcome. This is LBC 99.9 FM and LNTV Liberia Live. I'm broadcasting to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So stick and stay with us. Don't you go away as I'm bringing you full coverage of MICAT's regular press briefing. Keep following.
Thank you, National. Thanks to the management and staff of TrueLiberia Broadcasting Corporation. We'd like to thank you, members of the press, for taking up your time to regularly report on what the government is saying to the public. Without much ado, I'd like to invite the Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs, Daniel Sado. Sado is the Deputy Official Spokesperson of the government. We will speak to you on issues of national concern and also announce to you our guests who is expected to arrive.
So that's all the voice of Director for Press and Public Affairs, Honorable Lawrence and Family, and he's the current acting Minister of Information Services. Next is Honorable Dana Otesano, Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs at MICAT.
We want to, on behalf of the senior management team of the Ministry of Information, welcome all of you back. It's a brand new week, and we are happy, we are grateful to the Almighty God for the energy to be back here behind the national podium, helping to inform the Liberian people on many fronts as to what their government is doing. So we are back, we're happy to be back. We are expecting the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police. We have invited him to address a number of issues pertaining to the functions and duties of the police. We thought it was important to do so, to have him here, so that the public can hear from the horse's mouth as to what the concern of the Liberia National Police are in the wake of the mob violence that continue to negatively represent our country and the people that we are. The photos that we've seen on social media, very troubling, very disturbing, and the LNP has more details about that incident, so we have to speak about it. So as we anticipate the arrival of the Inspector General of Police, I just want to highlight the importance for us as a country to continue to remember where we come from. The concept of violence beget violence has not helped us. This country, we are still recovering from the deadly consequences of the violence that plunged our country into chaos. And we still see the spillover effects of the conflict, the violent conflict. Today we are grappling with drug and substance abuse as a country. Why the government is making or taking meaningful steps to address the issue of drug and substance abuse, group of citizens frequently take the law into their own hands and become brutal against each other. It is very disturbing, and as we proceed along the way with this press conference, the Inspector General of Police will be here to make the initial remarks on that incident and to speak to other issues, and to also tell the public what the government is doing. I will not want to let it count with that. The Inspector General of Police will be here. And so, the only speaker we have here today, other than myself, is the Inspector General of Police. So while we anticipate his arrival, let me just move on to speak to other issues of importance that are happening for our country, which we want the public to know. Since the war ended, one of the challenges that continue to plague the progress and development of our country is infrastructure. And so we want to announce that Liberia's first ever post-war national conference on infrastructure is set to take place between the 8th and 12th of December 2025. The conference will be convened in the city of Gompa, Onima County, on the date already stated, that is the 8th to the 12th of December 2025. The conference will provide a platform for government institutions, development partners, civil society actors, academicians, and technical experts to engage in dialogue on Liberia's infrastructure priorities and to explore innovative approaches that will support the nation's long-term development agenda. The forum will also serve as an opportunity to unlock economic, social, and environmental gains through resilient infrastructure while aligning national priorities with Africa's Agenda 2063, the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and Government Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development. Topics that will be covered at the forum will include housing and social infrastructure, developing spatial master plan for rural development, energy infrastructure, investment in infrastructure including domestic financing for infrastructure development, and expanding access to Liberia's rail and port infrastructures, among others. So the Ministry of Public Works is leading that effort with other development partners to organize the country's first ever post-war National Infrastructure Conference. It will be held between the 8th and 4th of December in the city of Gompa, Nima County. For those of you who travel to Okampo Town via the Combo Town route, you see that construction works on the overpass bridges along that corridor, the Totem Boulevard, has already begun. The government and our construction work is being carried out by the People's Republic of China. So work has started on the two overpass bridges, and details of those two bridges are the West Overpass Ministerial Complex, approximately 300-meter bridge with 2,290 meters of auxiliary and approach road. The East Overpass Boulevard Junction, approximately 180-meter bridge with 1,784 meters of auxiliary and approach roads. The construction duration is 24 months, from September 2025 to August 2027. The contractors, of course, Channel Road and Bridge Corporation, CRBC. The source of funding for our project, of course, been provided by the Chinese government. Is an aid, federal state grant, and the total value of the two overpass bridges is put at approximately $36.6 million US. So there have been a lot of talk around about evasion from the Hotel Africa, and people wondering whether the government is deliberately targeting the group of people that were residing at that facility. It is not true. The government has no intention to deliberately target citizens of the country, least to mention residents. But what we are witnessing is in furtherance of the President's mandate to renovate all public buildings around the country. Of course, the Hotel Africa is one of those places. And coupled with an investment plan, the Ministry of Public Works has announced an imminent eviction of squatters at the Hotel Africa. Minister of Public Works, Roland Greens, has indicated that the rehabilitation of major public buildings in the country is crucial towards improving public infrastructure. The Hotel Africa facility has been in Rome for years. The minister indicated that the government has seen the need to upgrade the facility and its surrounding land space of approximately 393 acres, beginning with the eviction of all squatters with makeshift homes and those with illegal permanent structure. Mr. Giri has cited that the move is intended to restore proud to Hotel Africa as one of Liberia's 2 5-star hotels in the past after Dubai Palace in the 1960s. Last week, the Ministry of Public Works conducted a first-hand assessment to determine the structural soundness of the complex as new development centered around investment opportunity for job creation in the pipeline. Hotel Africa, a former luxury resort and a five-star hotel in Africa, was constructed in 1979 to host the Organization of African Unity OAU Summit in Morocco. The complex featured a main hotel, separate villas for heads of states, a conference center, a casino, a golf course, and a golf course. During the Liberian Civil War, 1990-2003, the hotel was looted, damaged, and used by rebel forces for attacks. Following the end of the war, the site was repurposed by the United Nations for troops and later reoccupied by citizens, remaining in a state of despair despite various redevelopment plans. The Ministry of Public Works has also inspected an ongoing project into a fund which will witness the creation of an access road from Point 4 Junction onto the main Morota Blending Highway. The road, when completed, will ease the traffic congestion usually experienced around the Douala Market and beer factory, as motorists will now have an alternative route to fly. So, people want to come to invest in our infrastructure. But some of these public infrastructure are occupied by citizens. And you do not want a situation where somebody comes to the country, have already expressed interest to invest in, for example, Hotel Africa as it is, and you still have the facility being occupied. So the government is moving in. It is not a preemptive strike, but it's a deliberate attempt to clear the place so that those who want to come to invest, and that investment will also create jobs, it will improve our national infrastructure so we can empathize with our fellow citizens, but as the saying goes, development comes with pain. The LC is making additional strides to stabilize the electricity across the country. To that effect, we signed a milestone private-public partnership deal or a power purchase agreement with Secretary General Itabo Public declared for the development of a 40 megawatt terminal power plant. The agreement was officially signed on Friday, 10th October 2025 at the LC headquarters in Morocco. Managing Director Mohammed M. Sharif, alongside representatives of the company, Mr. Abu Karim Ubali, President Director, General CEO, and Mr. Aliu Bada Diara, Project Director. On this partnership, the company, a reputable independent power producer, RPP, with a proven track record in energy infrastructure, will fully finance, develop, and deploy 40 megawatt terminal power plants at the LC terminal plant site in Point 4 Bourgeois Island. The work is expected to be fully operational in 7 months. Technical mobilization has already begun, including detailed planning, site preparation, logistics coordination, and primary works. While speaking, the Inspector General of Police arrived. Honorable RG, we want to welcome you and your team to the Ministry of Information. The Ministry of Labor, in partnership with RISE Talent Accelerators Launch, Liberia Works. Liberia Works is the official national workforce platform of the Ministry of Labor, established to bring structural transparency and collaboration to the development and management of Liberia workforce. The platform serves as the national workforce solution, connecting employers, job seekers, and policymakers through three integrated components. Talent Marketplace, a single job board where employers can post vacancies and access a growing database of vetted Liberia professionals. National Junior Associate Program, a structured placement initiative that pairs young Liberians with employers for hands-on experience and skill development. Workforce Reporting Hub, a digital system for companies to submit workforce data and demonstrate regulations. TrueLiberia Works, the Ministry of Labor is creating a practical framework that supports both national development and private sector growth, thus ensuring businesses have access to the talent they need and Liberians have access to the opportunities they deserve. Second Lady Madam Stephanie Darkholm has launched a transformative program aimed at training women living with disabilities to become self-reliant. The initiative team, Empower Hub, was launched at the Pinjo City Hall on Friday. The program seeks to equip women with disabilities with essential vocational skills such as tailoring, soap making, tie and dyeing, among others, to enhance economic independence. The program is prompted by the many challenges faced by people living with disabilities, particularly women, in gaining access to education, empowerment, and sustainable livelihoods. The training will not only build skills, but also restore dignity and confidence. Following the completion of the training, participants will receive startup materials to help them begin their own businesses. We'll start there and now entertain remarks from the Honorable Inspector General of Police, which is very important. Prior to the arrival, I was indicating to you how the government is concerned about the growing wave of violence in our country. I will speak and we'll entertain questions.
So that was the voice of Honorable Dana Otesana, Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. Next is Inspector General Gregory Coleman. So if I just join you, I would like to say welcome. This is LBC 99.29 FM. Keep following.
It is an honor to be here to perform part of my duty, and that is accountability to the general public. The reason why we serve is for the protection and safety of each and every citizen of this country and visitors and other residents alike. Our duty is to report the truth and be sincere in our engagements as it relates to our service. When incidents occur, it is our responsibility to put out messages immediately based on what we have at the time to reduce the level of speculation and to also close the gap of disinformation that is now the order of the day. So today I'm here to throw light on three specific issues that we are dealing with at this point in time. One has to do with the stabbing and shooting incident in Congo Town involving Mr. Moba. Mr. Matthew Moa, and the second has to do with the brutal killing of Mr. Piru in the Johnsonville area, Mr. Prince Yellow in the Johnsonville area, and the third has to do with updates on the rape of the 14-year-old involving the suspended Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports. On Wednesday, the 8th of October, at about 10 a.m., the police in Congo Zone 3 area, specifically Depot 1, received a call that a resident of the LACC community in Congo across from Lone Star was behaving abnormal and posing threat to other residents of the community. Officers of Zone 3 Depot 1 immediately responded to the scene. When they got there, they were informed that Mr. Mola had barricaded himself in the room. So they breached the door and they went in. When they went in, they met Mr. Mola. He sat up and he identified the officers and told them, "You're a police officer wearing a uniform. Where is your warrant? You have no business in my property. As a matter of fact, I will sue you for breaching my door." So the officers backed up and they told the caller that this man is very, very composed and he doesn't seem to be posing a threat. As a matter of fact, he threatened to sue us. So the officers left the scene and advised him that if they believe that he was showing signs of mental health, that they should contact the mental health group. Later, the family contacted the E.S. Green Hospital and they dispatched a nurse. At this point in time, he's only identified as Michael. We're still trying to get him, but he has switched off his phone. This nurse, when he was dispatched, he did not ask for police help officially. He went and independently phoned some off-duty officers who were somewhere on the Congo Town back road. He knew specifically where to find them. He went on the Congo Town back road, spoke with them, they followed him. They did not call Central Command to inform of anything. So they just went on their own operation to assist this nurse to deal with this situation and try to restrain the victim. They passed the Zone 3 police station. They passed the Zone 3 Depot 1 police station. They did not make use of any of those stations. Neither did they contact Central. When they got on the scene, the family members stayed out and they went in. A few minutes later, one of them came back with a fatal stabbing. He came running out of the room and he had been fatally stabbed. So the family took him to Calvary Hospital, and then when they got to Calvary looked at the wound and said they could not deal with it, so they took him on to JFK. After that incident, then a call was placed directly to Central Headquarters that an officer had been stabbed and the suspect had fled and he had barricaded himself. So at this point in time, officers only responding to a fact that another officer had been fatally stabbed and the suspect is in the room. When they got there, one of the officers took out his badge and pushed it on the door and identified himself as police officers. They had no response. So they breached the door. When they breached the door, they didn't see anyone, he didn't see anyone in the room, so he went in. As soon as the second officer entered the room, the gentleman charged at his head with a cutlass and he lifted up his hand and he was immediately stabbed. He was immediately stabbed in the arm. So when he got stabbed, the other officer who was in the corner decided to, he also decided to while tossing the cutlass fell from him. So believing that he had secured the weapon from the other officer, he immediately turned to run to assist the officer who was bleeding. The officer who was on the ground screamed and said, "The guy is behind you overnight." Because the suspect, the victim, continued to pose to the officer who had the knife in his thigh, and even the one standing next. After the warning shot, the officer and he fired at the victim, who got injured and later was taken to the JFK hospital and pronounced dead. We regret the incident. At this point in time, investigation is ongoing. The use of force continues, looking at the shooting. Hopefully tomorrow we will conclude it, because there are one or two officers that we could not speak with, especially the one who got the fatal stabbing. However, I mean, this case is in two different proportions. Those who went without the call of Central to respond to the scene on their own and did not give the appropriate information to caution the responding team, and the use of force continue. So hopefully by tomorrow or later this week, we'll have a detailed concluded report on the exact use of force report, and that of the other officers who intervened. But so far, so good. As far as we have seen, we have not fully identified any breach yet of the use of force continuum as far as where the investigation is. On Sunday, October 12th, in the Jonesville community, Mr. Prince Yelu paid a visit to his relative in the Jonesville community, somewhere he used to live before. He came riding his bike and parked the bike outside of the relative's house and went in to talk to the relative. While he was in, a neighbor of the relative violently entered the house and said that they were looking for Prince, that Prince was a motorcycle rogue. And immediately he started pushing all around, pulling his ceiling down. So Prince came and said, "Well, here am I. I'm not a motorcycle thief." Before he could even end that, he struck him, and then the entire crowd broke into the house, pulled him out, and executed what you all have seen on the different videos that are circulating. We want to use this means to strongly condemn that action. It is a complete violation of his rights. It's a violation of humanity, and it just speaks to how low the society has stood. If we have members of our community that we will be standing for and defending, using the same human rights value, can't even wait for the rule of law, then we wonder where we are. However, we have launched an investigation. We have arrested 6 persons from that community. The neighbor who jumped in the community is on the run in his neighbor's residence and pulled the guy out. He's on the run. But fortunately, the person he was visiting can identify almost everyone who participated in a particular strike against Prince Yelu. So a manhunt is on for all of them, and we can assure you all that they will be arrested and justice will be served. From the last update on the Brian McGill case, we were at the point where his phone was being analyzed. We had exhausted that of the cell phone tower records, which supported his alibi. And we had 2 last steps, and that was one, the analysis of his phone, and that of the DNA testing. The phone analysis has come back, and we still have not found anything incriminating in the phone to have him charged. So at this point, the last thing we're looking at will be if we can find any other information from the DNA analysis. Unfortunately, the machines here are not working, so we've asked for help, and we're still waiting for response from the governments that we've asked for help on this issue. And let me say this: we're investigators. We cannot allow our personal emotions to lead the investigation. Then basically, we failed. We've already failed. And to a larger extent, I think emotions have been high for all of us on this particular case. Unfortunately, we just have not been able to establish the probable cause. In this case, I know there was a case cited about Coleman versus the Republic of Liberia, where this guy was accused by the lady, and yes, he was brought in to answer, and he was charged for his crime. If this had been a case where this girl, in an isolated area, in a bush or somewhere, had an encounter with this particular man and said, this is the man, yes, we're arresting for him to come and vindicate himself. What makes this case unique is that there's electronic evidence that contradicts what these claims are. So on the basis of that, we cannot look at an upright contradiction of the evidence and go ahead and make an arrest. I would like to re-echo, no one is above the law. As a matter of fact, Mr. McGill has already been suspended. So if this is right and dignity as a minister that we're trying to protect, I think by now that has been stripped off him and we should be able to do the needful. Unfortunately, in this case, what the needful is not what everybody else wants to hear. But we're still looking, the investigation is not closed. Something did happen to the little girl, and we'll get to the bottom of it. I know there are tons of questions, so I'll stop here. And
Thank you.
So that's it. Police Gregory Coleman just spoke on several key issues. Next is questions and answers by journalists.
My name is quiet, please.
My name is Joseph Sally. I reside on the accused is presumed innocent until proven in a court of competent jurisdiction. We all know that the rape law is non-bailable. And we had a situation with an accused in Vatan who was arrested for alleged rape case. We have tons of rape cases of people who were allegedly accused, allegedly for committing a crime, they are injured. What makes the Brian McGill case so different? Because he is an accused. We are not saying that he's a rapist, where he's an accused. Why is it that the court cannot why is it that the police cannot forward this case to court for he to exonerate himself, then for us going back and forth and looking for DNA and evidence? It is the court that determines that.
The queue is long. That's a one, please. Thank you.
We'll ask the question later.
Okay,
Yeah, the minister. Mr. Minister.
Yeah, please.
I will just ask.
Yeah, please. Let's deal with the police. Thank you.
My name is Rense Stiwia and I write for Liberia News Agency. Ajima concern is how to do with the DNA. Or is this a new way that the Liberia National Police is beginning to investigate rape cases by conducting DNA test? Because in the past, we know how rapists have been treated. So is that a new way that, let's say, you introduce it to investigate rape cases?
New way. Thank you. Next question.
Okay, my question to the IG. My name is Ezekiel Timo. I report for Encounter Radio and TV. Honorable IG, according to the girl's father, the minister appealed to them in front of the DM at the ministry. So during your investigation, were you care to ask the DM of the ministry if he was appealing, if the minister McGill was appealing to the girl's father? Thank you.
Next question.
No, we took three.
Okay, three. Yeah, thank you. Let Aji respond.
So the first person made reference about other cases where people were just accused and immediately arrested and placed in jail. I cannot speak for anywhere before my tenure began, but as far as it has been from the time I took over, and the record shows that even beyond that, when people are accused, we establish probable cause. Every last case, if you want to bring them one by one, and I can challenge you all, bring any of those cases. I will set up a day at the police headquarters. The Women and Children Department will be there. I will just ask that you all probably submit some of the information before, so that we can walk you through each and every one of the cases that we've handled. All those cases you'll be able to connect the suspect and the victim. There will be somebody who will say, oh yes, we saw this person, or something before we can even arrest. We don't just call people in and we don't have any connection, just go pick them up. In this case, it's like you buy a plane ticket, go, you check in, and you're in another country, and somebody accuses you here, you say, just because you accuse them of rape, knowing that we have evidence that you're in another country, you go ahead and arrest you. No. All of the cases that you're referencing, we can tell you, we can prove to you that we have evidence to connect those people, and that's on the basis of that, that's what we charge. This case was not just investigated by the police. We had the legal team from the gender ministry, and we had the prosecutors as well. So even if for any reason the police didn't do their work properly, and the prosecutor believed that he has something to prosecute, the prosecutor would disagree with us and tell you, say, yes, this case will be at the prosecution, and will be forced to do so. The prosecutor is right there working with us. The prosecutor says, based on what the findings are, he doesn't have anything to prosecute. So don't just put it on me. Call the prosecutors from the Ministry of Justice. If they believe that there's something for them to prosecute, let them tell us. We're not lawyers, they want us to the technicality. We're enforcers. So if they believe that there's something that they can take to court to prosecute, let them tell us we'll give it to them so they can prosecute the gentleman. Look, nobody trying to cover up anything here. I told you before, I know Brian from anywhere. That even if I knew him, I would not even put my career up there for him. So this particular stuff is on the basis of good evidence and good evidence only. You asked about others that are accused are in jail and why not Brian. Listen, this is not, we're not setting a new standard. We're not just setting a new standard. DNA is not an immediate requirement. This is just us exhausting. So
Last question, nobody stand behind you. Last question, nobody stand behind you.
Let me just make it clearer here. We did not say DNA is, we must have DNA proof and that's right. No. We said that we have exhausted everything else. The only thing that's left for us in investigation now to say that we can do in this case is to do DNA. Because on the normal investigation, if it was any ordinary case, but now we're not close it because we've exhausted everything. But the same reason why we know that we got to exhaust every avenue before people come and accuse it, because they're our minister, that's why I need to go to the further. So we go into the last step. DNA stuff, yes, if you had it, is an added advantage, it's a necessity, but it's not a requirement, so we must have DNA. In the case of the guy who was charged, the contractor for the Ministry of Agriculture, that particular situation, we didn't require DNA. Why? We could place the person who called the girl, we could place somebody seeing the girl in the room, we could place the girl in her bedroom. And the medical language was very, very clear. So we have probable cause to arrest. That's what makes it different. It's like any one of you here, everybody sitting down here today, I mean, it's okay because it's someone else. It's not one of you, but today when the table turned, definitely you want us to do exactly the same thing that we're doing here today. Listen, everybody been crying for a change in this country. You want to see the right thing done. But nobody knows what this change looks like. Change is painful. These are the things that you've been praying for forever. These are the changes to make sure that people who are taken to court are properly investigated and they have sufficient evidence. It's a part of the change. It's a part of the change. Nobody here to cover up any crime. We are committed, dedicated civil servants. We have given our lives to the service and protection of the state, and to also ensure that people who we are responsible for the safety, especially young children, are protected. Why at this point in time we want to call up because somebody who just been given an opportunity to serve? It doesn't make you any better than anybody else. I was saying any better than anybody. It's just an opportunity that I have to serve today. It's just an opportunity. It doesn't make us any better. It doesn't put us above the law in any way, shape, or form. So look, that takes for the politics for these things. Let us look at it from a clean lens. Look at it from a clean lens. If for any reason there is anything established that this guy, look, if they go in the next 2-3 years, if we're able to establish one link with a manager, he will still be arrested, he will answer for the crime. For now, we haven't found it. So, I mean, people should just stop trying to think that there's a political situation. It's not. Thank you.
All right, so good afternoon. I'm Larry STP and I report for Bana FM. Quickly, Mr. Aji, can you confirm to Liberian also the whereabouts of Mr. Brian Mangio?
Thank you. That's possible.
Thank you. My name is Mopolu and I report for Inside Liberia. Mr. Aji, you know, Jenner has already informed the public that this girl was tampered with. And then this girl mentioned the name of the minister, the former minister, and then you're telling us that you have done everything possible, you're only waiting for the DNA. It means that he might be free, just in case. So we want to know what specific, you know, checkup that you have done that I already make this guy free, only waiting for the DNA. Lastly, B to that, under your administration, we're seeing violence all over, including, you know, police being victimized in the process. The question is, what are you doing? If the police themselves now cannot defend themselves, they have been beaten by keke, you know, and all of that, how can the citizens themselves trust you that you can protect them? Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you. My name is Desmond Nguyen and I report for Democracy Watch newspaper. Thanks so kindly, IG, for updating the Liberian people. This is a sensitive matter, and of course, we in the press, we are interested to know what the unfoldings are. At what point in time in the investigation did the LNP establish that there was probable cause to make an arrest, and why has not that happened? Given the alleged medical report that have confirmed that there was sexual penetration of the survivors. And just a follow to that, what is the status of the survivor as current?
Thank you. I think it's 3, so yeah. Aji can respond. We'll take the next 3, we'll close out with that. Last 3, we'll close out with that.
Okay. So the first question is, where is Mr. Brian McGill? Mr. Brian McGill reports to Central Headquarters on a daily basis. There's a law that he will continue to sign until this case is closed. So Mr. McGill has surrendered all of his travel documents, his passports and everything to the Liberian National Police. And even though at this point in time we do not have a charge that we can use to issue a NAXI Republic Academy, we have alerted the immigration of the ongoing case that any attempt that he makes to leave the country, he will be notified about it. Yeah, the violence, a lot of violence under my administration. Well, the violence that you see is a result of the anger in the community. The overwhelming anger. And the reason why that anger is directed at us is because the police is the graphic representation of the state's authority. We are the ones who you can see for everything that you guess what. The Lord we're going to can see by the time you see over that flare of a true, the minister where you can see, by the time you see what you're putting in, why we always have the encounter. It is because we are the ones who answer to all of the anger. So whenever people get violent, they get angry, they don't call the minister, they don't call the Lord, they call who? The police. And the police have to deal with all of the people on a daily basis. This is not a police problem, it's a societal problem in Liberia. Yes, I do recognize the need for reforms, and I continue to call for reforms in the Liberian National Police to address some of the systemic issues and the challenges that we face as a result of the lack of training. When we did this thing for security sector reform, was supposed to have periodic refreshment. Some of you officers have been refreshed for over 10, 12 years. There's an overwhelming compassion fatigue as well from the officers, with a continual outburst from the general public. So this is not, you can put all the responsibility on us, say that the police causing the violence to happen, but if the police were coming out and just being violent and everybody else in church, in prayer, saying about the Bible studies and stuff, then you can say it's just the police. But no, the police ain't coming to meet people who in church and having prayer. They meet people who are angry and already willing to express violent means even against the police officers themselves. So this is a clarion call to this entire republic, to the leadership, to the common man, and everybody. There is a need to address some of these issues. The police just taking the burden for everything else. We don't want anything happening right now. You're cutting a tree right now, you call the police. Here it is, this issue today I'm standing here addressing. Is it a police call? No. But who answers? It's the police. Now that we answer, we gotta be dealing, we gotta be now justifying the effect. There's a cause and an effect. Every time we come to respond to these things, nobody has asked any question here about the cause within the prime minister's situation. Everybody only looking at the effect. The police only answer because they were called. And yes, we acknowledge the level of violence. We are doing everything we can, making appropriate recommendations. We can only work with what they give us. So we are around that time again where the budget is about to be done. I would ask each and every one of you here to add your voices to that of the police. The police budget is the people's budget, to put stuff in it for reform, for retraining of the police officers, for us to be able to de-escalate, for us to be able to deal with the trauma issues, the compassion fatigue that the officers are going for. That would be your help, that would be your contribution towards addressing the issues of violence in this society. The state of the victim is in a safe home with the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection. So she's safe, and at this point in time, the investigation is still ongoing. Thank you.
Sorry, is that the check-up that
You allowed?
Yeah, I'm the one who asked questions.
Come on inside, make a follow-up. Please come on inside, make a follow-up. Why are you making your follow-up? Go ahead.
Thank you so much. My name is George Momo, and I report for the Liberia News Agency. Honorable Aji, thank you for the update. And crime prevention investigation require collaboration. So, where do we stand relative to a group that should be your first respondent to crime in a community, talking about the collaboration or the empowerment of the Community Watch Forum? Be to that, a year ago, I asked you concerning this fine officer app on Play Store, where I agree you have a professional standard division where you can commend or complain an officer, and that morning your response was you hang up the phone with those responsible. A year gone now. Where are we with that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jackson Hali Siafa. Thanks to you, IG, for the nice presentation. But then my question has to do with the shooting, stabbing and the shooting incident. It was commendable that the first shot, which was a warning shot, was up. That's to deter or to put fear in the victim. But in a case where it went to high escalation, wasn't it necessary to look at either the legs or any part of his body that may not have caused death, to have shot his leg to put more fear in him so that he can be disarmed? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, IG. My name is Aruna Ekwepogi, and I report for Blaze FM. Now that you are asking citizens to remain calm until the final investigation that have to do with the DNA test, my concern have to do with what if the DNA test proves that suspended Bryant McGill is innocent? Will you drop the case or you continue further with the investigation? And what if they accuse Bryant McGill? What becomes of him? Second question.
One question, sir. Make a follow-up.
Thank you. So my follow-up is, if Jenner telling the Liberian people that this girl was tampered with, and then you also telling us that you have carried on ladder checker and there is no evidence, what are those specific, examination that prove that this man is not linked with the allegation?
So that's 8 questions. Let us respond by police agent.
The guy from Lina asked a question about our crime prevention and our collaboration with other partners. So when you hear us talking about reform and stuff, it's we're not just saying it because of rhetoric. We're saying it because yes, indeed, it is needed. While it is true that we always claim that we're holding on community policing basis, I think the existing structure that we have, has got to be revisited. Today, the burden of community policing rests solely on the community services department. And that cannot cut across, and it cannot bring the philosophy of community policing throughout our service delivery. So one of the things we're asking for the reform is for us to come back and do retraining, integrating other theories within our community policing framework. We've gone ahead, we've done detailed project documents. As a matter of fact, we've included it in our strategic plan that we're concluding, that we're now going to philosophize. That means we got to bring all the officers back and train them, that their orientation. So as it is right now, community policing is more of community engagements and stuff, back and forth follow up with the community. But when we talk about the true philosophized community policing, it should be incorporated in the training of even the emergency response, even that of the PSU, the patrol officers and everything. So it's the thinking as to how they engage. And some of the theories that we are now instigating in this reform are theories that we tested in 2016, even though we didn't have the time to theorize it then, but we applied it in 2016 and it worked very, very well. It was successful in conducting the election violence-free. And those were the theories of the do no harm concept, where our intervention in crisis should not escalate it, it should not prolong it, and it should do no harm to the people who we intend to save. That of anti-fragility, to be able to build stronger bonds with the community. That every situation that we encounter, every shock, will help to make us better, that we will rebound, we become stronger, and that we're able to maintain the relationship with the community. If it happens, if a situation happens, it should not shatter that relationship where people should come running to storm the police. We should have a strong relationship that can withstand shock, that we'll all be able to work together and be able to restore order in the shortest possible time. And all of these things, we have done some great work on them. We've laid down all of the principles. We're only now looking for the support to be able to go back to retrain all of these officers to roll out these concepts. But even though the money is not there, we take small groups, small classes every now and then and continue to train them. And that is why, you will think that there's an escalation in violent activities with the officers. But one thing I want you to recognize here, our records are saying something else. But you know why it seems that way? It's because there's more cameras out there to capture more of these things that happen on a daily basis. Imagine There were way more of these things happening when we didn't have the cameras all over to report all of these different incidents. And we welcome them, because every time you capture something for us, we don't let it go free. We go back, we investigate our officers, we take the appropriate actions, and we learn from them. Every time we go out on the field, we have operations out there, be it a riot, be it whatever we respond to, we come back, we do after action review, looking at what we could have done better to try to improve our service delivery. This thing, I mean, we will make mistakes, but it's not intentional. It's not like police just coming out, the police just want people, police just want to kill people. No. Police only want to protect people. That's all we intend to do, and that's all we have signed up for. So like I said, add your voices, join us, and let's appeal for what is right, so that we can be, look, there's a service to you. The police provides a service to anyone you walk outside there, and something happen to you. I don't care how you can be judged with the police, you get a phone, you call the police, and the police will show up. Because we're the only ones that always show up. So I understand the frustration, and we can take it, we accept it. For our part, for where we're wrong, we always make the necessary corrections, and we penalize our officers when they are wrong. But in some cases, we gotta step back and revisit it and see the responses from the general society as well. Was it the police that called them to roll over the man with the motorcycle back and forth? This is what the society has become. And somehow, the police, everybody expects the police to just go out and fold their hands. No, we have lives as well. We have families that look out every day for us to return home. So we have to protect ourselves to protect you all. Investigative follow-up on the Panama case. But some of the things that we did in this case, one, when the accusation was made, we followed all of the steps as far as our LGBT protocols as established in this country is concerned. It was reported to the station, we referred them to the one-stop center. They went to the one-stop center, they brought the report back. We went and we interviewed witnesses. We brought the suspect in, we interviewed the suspect. The suspect gave his alibi, we checked it. People who he was with at the time that this particular stuff occurred, we spoke to all of them, they confirmed yes, at this particular point in time he was with us. So that was the first layer. So even the securities there said they did not see this man on the stadium on that day. The camera did not pick him up as well. His friends who he claimed he was with, we spoke to them, they confirmed that yes, this man was with us on the field at this particular point in time. He claimed that he left the field and went straight home. His wife confirmed, yes, my husband came home to watch the Arsenal game. All the people that his friends, that his wife, so we decided to say, okay, that they're only here. Let's go one step further. We prayed to the court. The court gave us his follow-up, MTN and Orange. We went through it, we looked at the time that it was alleged that the victim claimed this particular incident occurred. So we look at the time. If you have your phone on you, right now all of us, our phones are here connected to some kind of tower right around here. So based on where you are with that phone at that particular point in time, it will show your connection to that tower. So when we look at the time that they claim that this incident happened in 2 different days, it puts him to a completely different area than where they're claiming that this particular incident occurred. We went one step beyond. We went and reconstructed the crime scene. Walk point by point. Review the video again. And somebody said, well, maybe you think you might go play with the video. So we carry experts in to look at the video. If you cut a video, you know the CCTV, it has timestamp on it. So if for any reason they cut any part of that video, you'll see it will jump from one number to another. They watch that video straight through. It didn't show anything cut from it. The victim made a statement, and even apart from the rape itself, even the victim's statement, even contradicted what was captured on the video in the portion that she's even in. So there's just been a lot. Every time you try to dig further, you say, no, the girl, there's something true in this girl's statement. It's just that we have not established it. But these are the different steps that we've exhausted to in his investigation, we went further and called him in, we asked him all of the difficult questions. So after we did the cell tower analysis, then we decided, okay, the cell tower will tell you which area, which tower you're connected to, but we're not giving you the exact position. So let's take his phone. We brought it to the court. When we told him that we're taking his phone, he said, no, I'm not even taking my phone. I will witness around it. You're going to need the court document. I said, well, just in case we found something in the phone that we need to use for legal purposes, let your lawyer do a document, notarize it, send it to us, indicating that the witness turned the phone over. The lawyer went ahead, they did that, they turned the phone over. We went in the primary memory of the phone, the secondary memory, checked the GPS coordinates, everything, look at all the video, all the pictures, all the recording in the phone. Unfortunately, we have still not been able to find anything at this point in time. And that's why we say the only last step there is the DNA. So if we do the DNA now and establish that he was connected, then we'll definitely arrest. If it doesn't establish, we'll close the case. And if we find any other evidence at any point in time, we can obviously rearrest him. Thank you.
Thank you, Archie. You want close?
Well, I think I've said enough.
So that was the voice of the Police Inspector General, Gregory Coleman. This is on Budana of the Sound of the Deputy Minister here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism.
So, the government, the president has appointed the head of the tourism authority, the National Tourism Authority. I want to know what's the current name that we're calling the Ministry of Information. Have you got work up on that? Secondly, where is culture? Is culture with the Tourism Authority or culture with the Ministry of Information? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Mr. Deputy Spokesperson of Government. My name is Desmond Wayne, and I write for Democracy Watch. My attention has been drawn to the fact of the too many statements from within the government communication relating to the most talked about presidential villa in Lofa County. A week ago, he said that was being constructed by Maro Roy. And on the salon of that, the presidential villa. Did I say so here? As far as I can remember.
I said here?
As far as I can remember.
As far as you remember?
Yes, sir.
You got proof to me saying that here?
So, Mr. Minister,
no. Hold on.
So, okay, let me
hold on a minute. There are people listening to you.
Of course.
So, what you don't know, do not try to say it.
Mr. Minister?
Yes.
You know, you spoke 2 weeks ago. So, as far as I can remember, I may not be right. So that I may not be right. But you said that presidential villa, as it is being described in Lofa County, while it's not for the president, but it has. You said something that you quoted and was particularly almost linking to the government. So and then on the silence of that, Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fufana, in a categorical voice, said that project there is no way, no point in time the Liberian government or the president in particular ever approved or have idea to what is being constructed in Lofa County. So many Liberians are concerned, what in a bold tone can the government say that they can believe as it do? Thank you. That's the question.
My name is Mopolu and I report for TrueLiberia. So asking Mr. Simon because he represents the government. You talk about the issue of the VOA, I visited the area. There are beautiful houses there, and the people have appealed to the government that yes, we were working with you before, talking about government in past time, but we have our legal document that we bought this, area from different people. But the government is saying that we want to do this place. Some of them want purchase, the area from government. Now, if the government wants to, continue to carry on development, the question is, are you compensating them, or are you trying to place them to a place that they won't regret they are taken out from a place that they have spent decades? Thank you.
So, Mr. Desmond William, this platform is the official platform of the government of Liberia. What we want to say to the people of Liberia, what we want to say to the press, we'll let it out on this platform. Anything that is said here is the official position, or anything that is said here represents the government of Liberia. What we do not say, we do not want you to impute opinion to say, oh, somebody stood behind this microphone and said this, that, or some project. The other day, somebody asked me, I said, what is said on Facebook does not represent the government of Liberia. It's an official platform. When the government are able to speak to anything, it will be said here. Let us desist from speculating. This is how we mislead the public. Somebody who doesn't know say, oh, the minister said that thing. At no point in time have we said that here. When the government of Liberia wants to comment on whatever speculation, some of you guys in the press, I see you already put a tag on the project. It's a $50 billion project. Some say $10 billion. The government of Liberia will respond when the time is appropriate. Yeah? So it's a very bad precedent. Very bad precedent. You see property that is not for you, go there. In some cases, people face illegal deed, title deed, and it's a settlement. This ministry is a victim of that, the government of Liberia is a victim. When Kennedy was given to RLG, a 50-acre land was purchased on the Rubble Free Highway for the new cultural center. The past government got some money to put property in fence. We don't know what happened to the money. That property was left abandoned. Some individuals with ulterior motive took them to themselves the authority to say the land for them. Out of the 50 acres of land, they are sold almost like 40 acres. Land that belongs to the Liberian government for the National Cultural Center. Somebody go and fix title deed and sell land to people that were broke to buy land. So that place, since we came to the ministry over the last 2 years, we have conducted 3 different surveys. The last one we did clearly showed that only 8 acres of the land is now unincurable. The remaining 42 acres are occupied by Indians. Is that the way you own land? You are the buyer, you have a duty to make sure that where you're spending your money is rightfully owned by the person who is purporting to be the owner. So if you don't exercise that due diligence, you go and build concrete structures on government land, and you see Hotel Africa was existing long before some were even born. Go and start building, posted building, there are 2 places. And when investors come to the country, they say government should compensate you, or government should not do it. It's a complex situation. Like I said, it is sad that they have to be evicted at this point in time, but we have to give development a chance. Look, it even gives some people the chance to take the land out capital building money for nearly 170. There are people all over willing to get involved to do their business, especially when it comes to land. Even though we now have a law that makes the criminal conveyance of land criminal, Some people still get themselves involved into it. Every day you go to the court, it's one land case after the other. All the township commissioners are confronted with that problem. The government of Liberia is simply doing what is right. It's not a deliberate action to displace anybody. But like some of us who build our properties in the alley, the government will not say because the men built 3-4-story building in the alley, so we can bring it and we'll leave it there. Just the other day, we were reporting here that 4 persons died, I think 6 persons or 4 persons died, 6 persons died in a fire incident because somebody has built a structure in the way the fire service truck would not use the site. So I know all I want to build, want to develop our country, but sometimes just when you do that due diligence, you have built a concrete structure on a property that doesn't belong to you. You know it's for government, yeah. Squatting there wouldn't have meant no harm for you because when you are a squatter, you give it war at any point in time. But you know how many years it goes into the war ended? How many years ago? More than 20 years. So you've been living somewhere. You're not paying rent. You're not paying taxes. When the government comes for the property, you say it should compensate you or the government should, forgive you because you already got children in the land. It doesn't work that way. We need to be able to give development a chance. All these public infrastructure that we're talking about will give our country a facelift. Today, every other major conference is taking place at the industrial complex. So why the Chinese were not going to bless us with that project? Moreover, City Hall holds everybody. So we have an infrastructure problem. So we have to give the government a chance to do what it's doing. I mean, it's not a bad thing. People who have been living there will have to move, obviously. Because when the investor comes, that property have to be ready to undergo the rightful renovation or rebuilding exercise to bring it up to, if not better than the pre-war status, make it be something better that we can go towards the country. Joseph Salif, the government has set up the National Tourism Authority, how is MICAT called? It's the Ministry of Information. The law creating this ministry said it was the Ministry of Information. That law has not been amended. Culture and tourism were introduced at a later date. So, of course, there are plans to add other functions to the ministry. The RG indicated that civic education is important. The reason why you see people getting involved with violence all over the place is because some people don't just know the civic duty. But it is not on our part to say we will give that responsibility to ourselves. It has to go through the legislative framework, but that will be handled with the committee, the appropriate committee. So you ask, where is culture? Of course, the transition process is on, and the structure of the National Tourism Authority creates a deputy director for culture. Culture what? It creates a position, deputy director for cultural heritage. So of course, culture is going with the National Tourism Authority as well. I think those were all the questions I was asked. And I want to say thank you to every one of you. We will be here on Thursday, hopefully, the CSA, and maybe 2 additional entities of the law will be here to address the press. Thank you very much.
So that's it for today's press.